Hey, this is Dayglow, and these are records in my life.
Taking me down, where is the place? Calling a cab, showing up late. Now that it's all already waste, who you be? Your coffee to go is harder than
Hey, Sloan. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Well, thanks again for being on Records in My Life. And where exactly you're hanging out these days, aside from your studio?
Yeah. Thank you. First off, I'm a fan. I've watched a lot of these interviews before.
You have?
So this is cool. Yeah.
That's so
Yeah.
kind of you. Thanks.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm here in Austin. I live in Austin, and haven't been, anywhere else really. I actually just moved into this house. So I moved to a new house. But yeah, just been in Austin. The world isn't really open right now. So
Fantastic. Well, you seem happy. That's great. And
yeah.
exciting times. Tell us a bit about your new record, Harmony House, which is about to drop soon.
Yeah.
Any details you can?
Sure. Yeah, so Harmony House is my second LP. I wrote and produced and mixed it all myself. It's definitely the way that I view it is a much more mature album than my first record, Fuzzybrain. I was inspired by a lot of like yacht rock, as we'll probably talk about in a second. Just like, yeah, like 70s and 80s pop music. I'm 21 years old now, and
Right.
my first album I wrote when I was, like 16, 17. So pretty naturally, just as a person, my musical tastes have changed a lot. And so, yeah, it's just kind of what I've been listening to lately. It's like 70s and 80s pop music. So my album kind of sounds like it too. Hopefully, I don't know.
That's great. It's fantastic. And another quick notice, nowadays it's nice because you have like satellite radio or something like Sirius where you can just listen to one or whatever on Spotify, like one on demand, one yacht rock channel, right?
Yeah.
That's why your generation is so lucky. Like we had to work, we had to work and go to the shopping mall and buy the
Right.
cassette or the
Hmm.
vinyl.
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah, but
it's so compiled.
yeah, totally. Do you have a favorite track off the new record or one that you're most proud of?
Um, yeah, I mean, that's a hard question. I think each song I really paid a lot of specific energy towards. They all serve different purposes in my mind. Um, but I really feel like I'll have to see like how people react to each song. I'm really curious which ones will stand out. But if I had to pick a favorite, there's a track called December that I really like. It's the most recent song that I wrote too, so that probably has something to do with it.
Is there a bit of a story behind that track or?
It's like, yeah, my most recent song that I wrote. Um, I sat down on my Wurlitzer one day and just wrote it all the way in like 10 minutes just on keys. Because I'll write a lot of songs because I play all the parts. It kind of just becomes this like, you know, fruit salad of ideas where just everything comes at once. And I don't have like songs usually where I can just sit down on one instrument and play. And so it was really nice because December I wrote all the way on a Wurlitzer. But the chorus, the hook of the song, essentially it's like, so my friend, you just remember every year has its December, is like the lyrical refrain in it. And that's from this poem book that I have from my great grandmother.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so that's a little special, family warm feeling.
So Records in My Life is about you, the artist, and the records have inspired you to play music and the records that you love. Tell us about I've asked this to a lot of artists recently because we've all been going through the pandemic and isolating, staying at home. Give us a couple of records that have really grown on you during this time.
Sure. What I've been trying to do is go and look at like the greats and just go through their discography. So like I've been listening to a lot of like Paul Simon, Billy Joel, Christopher Cross. He's another Austin guy.
Is he from Austin?
Yeah,
I
he's
didn't
from
know that.
Austin. I know. I hope to meet him someday. That'd be awesome. And James Taylor, just like all that whole collection, Michael McDonald, of these artists, and just like it's just good music. I feel like it's good music, feel good music, like when you're alone, and there's a lot of that right now during a lockdown. So it just feels very appropriate, that style of feel good music.
Any titles from those artists, like two that stand out right away?
Of songs or albums?
Album titles.
Sure. Graceland, Paul Simon, that's such an awesome album. If That's What It Takes, the Michael McDonald record, I think it's his first solo record right after the Doobie Brothers Minute by Minute. Those are kind of like the same album in my mind. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, just like a whole collection of them.
That album goes back. I mean, you're such a young dude, and that it's funny.
Yeah.
I was listening to Minute by Minute, like I was younger than you are now, so it's
Sure.
just like it's amazing how it's come back. Like Michael McDonald is he's the cool guy now.
Yeah, he's awesome. Yeah, the internet's crazy.
Well, I mean, it's the best source for music these days, definitely. What if you had a choice to hear, which album would you like to hear live in its entirety?
I would love to see James Taylor. If his album, That's Why I'm Here, is one of my favorite albums, and I've listened to that through so many times, and so that would be pretty surreal to see him, perform. That would be cool.
You got a job hired as a teacher. You're teaching. I know. I'm sure you've probably seen the film School of Rock. So you've been hired to the local elementary school, and you have to send the kids home with kind of a culturally, like a cool, kind of, I hate to use the word hip because it's record, but something also they'll learn musically. Which one would you send them home with?
Honestly, probably Minute by Minute, the Doobie Brothers. I feel like that will get you well on your way. It's got rock, it's got funk, and if you could learn that, I feel like you would just become a good musician. And then it'd be cool if kids were like emulating, the Michael McDonald voice, coming back to school. That'd be awesome.
Is that what it is? Is it the Michael McDonald velvety vocals, or is it the instrumentation? What is it that you're that's drawn you into?
Yeah, for me personally, it's definitely the instrumentation. I love his voice, but I didn't realize how unique his voice was until like someone pointed it out and was like, "Oh yeah, like his voice is like, the thing." And I just listened to like, the jams, but
fantastic. So you got a great opportunity to go to space. There's a lot of rockets going up these days, but you're only allowed to take one record with you. Like, carry one. They have a record player, but you're allowed to take one album.
I don't know. I feel like I would probably just not listen to music. I would just choose, like, I feel like I'd drive myself crazier if I had one album only. But maybe I'm trying to think of something that's like not catchy, because then I would just like the hook would drive me crazy. But all these albums are kind of like pop hooks. I don't know, maybe like Bach or like some classical stuff. I feel like that's appropriate for space. Some classical music of some sort. I don't know.
Fits nicely. So let's flash forward a little bit, and it can be kind of influenced by the 80s, the band, but let's go with a new discovery, a new artist, because we like to do that sometimes. This is a show about educating people about new bands. Is there someone or a group that we should be looking out for?
Very good question. All the music I've been discovering lately is like older, so I don't know. I'm thinking like new artists that I really like. There's this band called Low Island that I just like discovered like yesterday. It's a different vibe. It definitely has like a lot of synth driven like disco stuff to it. But they're really cool. I love Parcels. That's a band that I really like. They're Australian, I think, based I don't know where they're based, but It's just like funk music, kind of like funk revival, which is really cool.
Weed, wine, or water to listen to your favorite album and to write?
Probably water. Yeah, if I had to pick one, sober-minded writing.
And to listen to your favorite record as well?
I think so. Yeah. Just paying good attention.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Coffee with an artist, alive or dead?
I would love to have coffee with Christopher Cross. Honestly, I feel like that's one I could probably do too, because we're in the same city. So maybe you just inspired me to reach out to him. That'd be cool. But
Maybe
yeah, I'd love to.
Maybe we can help track him down for you.
Yes, that'd be awesome. Yeah, I would love to have coffee with Christopher Cross. That'd be so cool.
What's very interesting about him, Christopher Cross, was, he had about 2 or 3 massive hits in the, I'm going to say in the early 80s, maybe late 70s, early 80s, if I'm not right. But he was, pre-internet. So I don't want to carry on too much about Christopher Cross, but he didn't have there was no face really behind him because his record covers, you know what I mean? So he was like the invisible man who was selling these tens of millions of records.
Yeah.
And he could be your next door neighbor. Like, that was the amazing thing.
Yeah. It was a mystery, and it just blew up because I've watched videos about sailing, and it got like 3 Grammys or something. And that just blows my mind because, I just don't get how that happened.
Yeah.
It's amazing music, but such a mystery.
What would you consider the record of your high school years?
I listened to like a lot of Phoenix. That's definitely a different direction, but I listen to a lot of like indie pop, and I think that influences my production a lot. But I listen to a bunch of Phoenix, MGMT, just like the indie heads, Tame Impala, of course.
I big thank you again for doing the show, and we like to ask all our guests for words of wisdom for your fans and our audience, please.
Sure. Words of wisdom. Let's see. Nobody knows what they're doing.
That's a fine
There we
one.
go.
That's good. It's a good piece of advice for people that are really hard on themselves, and it's a good thing. Thanks so much. I really appreciate it, and best of luck with the new release. We'll be looking.
Yeah, thank you.
We'll be definitely looking out for it.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks. Okay. This was awesome.
Take care. I'm glad you had fun. Good sport, and you were prepared too, which is very nice. I appreciate it. Thank you again.
Of course. Yeah. Bye. Have a good day.
Bye.
Hi, I'm Mark Henning, the other half of Records in My Life. Love it that you made it to the end of the video. Please leave us a comment, leave us a thumbs up, and subscribe. If you really dug the show, we'd love it if you'd consider supporting us over at patreon.com/RIMLTV. Cheers and see you next week.